You'd think a quiet neighborhood would mean a quiet life, especially after everything I've been through. My wife passed away giving birth to our daughter, and for the last 3 years, it's just been me and my little girl. She's my world. We live in the same house we've always been in. I take care of the place, pay my dues, and keep to myself. My daughter's happiest outside, drawing with chalk, blowing bubbles, or scooting around the driveway. Nothing wild, just a toddler being a toddler. Then came Karen. She walked by the first time while my daughter was sitting on the sidewalk, coloring flowers in chalk. Karen stared like we were graffiti artists tagging a church. She didn't say hello, just muttered, "Unbelievable." The next day, there was a note stuffed in my mailbox, printed, stapled, and signed, "A concerned resident." It said the chalk was unsightly and accused me of letting my child vandalize public space. First off, it's not public space. It's my sidewalk. And second, what kind of adult targets a 3-year-old over chalk? I ignored it. But 3 days later, I was inside folding laundry when I heard shouting. I rushed out, and there was Karen standing at the edge of my driveway, yelling at my daughter. I didn't even think. I ran over. My daughter was frozen in place, clutching her chalk and looking terrified. Karen pointed at her like she'd caught a criminal. "She's been doing it again, ruining the pavement. This is a decent neighborhood." I stepped between them and told Karen to back off immediately. I even pulled out my phone and started recording when she called my daughter a disruption. She stormed off, yelling about getting the board involved. There is no HOA board. We're in a loosely managed community with no formal authority structure. But Karen clearly thinks she's in charge. I picked up my daughter, who was already crying, and carried her back inside. Something told me this wasn't the last we'd see of her. If you love HOA Karen stories, like and subscribe for more videos like this. I thought that first run-in with Karen was the worst of it. I hoped maybe she'd back off, maybe realize she was yelling at a toddler and feel embarrassed, but nope. About a week later, I was outside with my daughter again. She had her bubble wand, just giggling, chasing them around. It was one of those peaceful evenings. No TV, just us, some music playing low from the porch. Then I heard that voice again. Karen. She was walking her little dog, no leash, of course, and saw my daughter blowing bubbles. Didn't say hi, didn't smile, just stood there across the street with her arms crossed like she was watching something illegal. I kept my eye on her, but didn't say anything. My daughter ran toward the edge of the driveway, chasing a big bubble, didn't even step off our property, and that's when Karen snapped. She stormed over and shouted, "You need to control your child." I stood up from my chair, told her to leave. I said, "We're on our property. She's not doing anything wrong." Karen didn't care. She pulled something out of her purse. At first I thought it was a phone, but then I heard that awful sound. Sst. She had a can of pepper spray, and she sprayed it right at my daughter. Not a warning. Not near us. At us. My little girl dropped, screaming. I lost it. I grabbed her, covered her face with my shirt, ran for the hose, trying to wash her eyes out while she cried and coughed and couldn't breathe. Karen stood there like she did nothing wrong, said, "Maybe now she'll learn to stay in her place." I didn't even speak. I didn't yell. I just stared at her because I knew exactly what I was going to do next. She didn't know who I was. She didn't know what I was, but she was about to find out. I didn't sleep that night. My daughter finally calmed down hours later after the urgent care visit. The doctor confirmed what I already knew. It was pepper spray, and she was lucky she didn't get it full in the eyes. Even then, her face was red and swollen. She kept asking me why that mean lady hurt her. I didn't have an answer. Not one a 3-year-old could understand, but I knew what had to happen next. I made one phone call. By morning, 2 patrol cars were rolling into the neighborhood. Karen didn't even bother to come out when she saw the squad car lights. Probably assumed it had nothing to do with her, but it did. Everything was already in motion. See, what Karen didn't know, what no one in this HOA seemed to know, was that I'm not just some quiet guy raising his kid alone. I'm the police chief for our county. Been doing the job 19 years. I took this house years ago for peace and space, not to get mixed up in HOA drama. That's why I never mentioned the badge. Just never wear the uniform unless I'm on duty. I just wanted to be dad at home. But now she made it personal. I walked up to her door in plain clothes, cruiser behind me, body cam on. Karen answered with that fake, smug look. "Oh, officers, is everything all right?" I held up a still from the security cam. My daughter on the ground. Karen's arm outstretched, finger on the trigger. She blinked, then looked at me. You're. Yeah. I cut her off. I'm the one you sprayed a 3-year-old in front of, and I'm also the one pressing charges. She tried to backpedal. I thought she was attacking me. She ran at me. She was chasing a bubble, I said flatly. You discharged a weapon at a child on private property. That's felony assault. She was speechless. The officers cuffed her right there on her perfect HOA porch while she screamed about lawsuits and misunderstandings. I stayed calm. This isn't a misunderstanding, I said. You hurt my daughter. Now you deal with the law. Karen thought she'd be out the same day. Probably expected a slap on the wrist, maybe a warning. But things don't work like that, not when a child is involved. And definitely not when the chief of police is the father of that child. After she was booked, I recused myself from the investigation officially. I handed over everything, the footage, my statement, medical records, to a neighboring jurisdiction. I wasn't going to let her twist it into some abuse of power circus. Everything had to be clean. She tried to lie in the initial interview, said my daughter charged at her and that she felt threatened. But the footage killed that story instantly. It showed my little girl blowing bubbles, giggling, not even aware Karen was behind the bushes. They hit her with felony assault on a minor, illegal use of a weapon, and trespassing because, yes, she had walked through the side gate without permission. Karen's lawyer begged for a plea deal, but the DA wouldn't budge. It went to court. She cried on the stand, played the victim, said her HOA duties had stressed her out and she felt unsafe because of unfamiliar kids in the neighborhood. That line almost made me laugh, if I hadn't been staring at my daughter's scarred cheek the whole time. The judge didn't go easy. Karen got 14 months probation, 6 weekends in county jail, and a mandatory anger management program. She was also banned from holding any HOA positions ever again. The board stripped her name from every record. The neighborhood turned fast. Parents stopped talking to her. People whispered when she walked by. One family even put up a sign near their lawn, "Children at play." Karen, keep walking. As for me and my daughter, we kept our heads down. I focused on healing her and myself. Got her into a play therapy group, upgraded our security system, took some time off to just be with her. One afternoon, while she was coloring on the patio, she looked up at me and said, "She's not coming back, right?" I smiled. "No, baby, she's gone." Because when you hurt a child, especially mine, there are no HOA meetings, fake apologies, or crocodile tears that can save you. Not when the law answers back. What would you do if Karen sprayed your 3-year-old with spray? Would you keep calm, or would you make sure justice was served? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you want more insane HOA stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the drama.